Hey friend, I'm Kim Sorges with Not Consumed Ministries, where we help families grow in faith so they are not consumed by life. I'm so glad you're joining me today as we talk about my basic plan for teaching language arts, as well as some tips and tricks I've learned along the way. First, let's make sure we understand what language arts really involves. Language arts is a very broad subject, which includes reading, handwriting, spelling, grammar, and writing. I have a post that breaks down every single age level in detail with links and ideas. We will link to that on the Curriculum Week page for you. In this video, I'm going to do a brief overview of that post and share with you some of my favorites, because I know it's fun to see it in real life. It's important to know that while I listed lots of components of language arts, it all starts with reading. We want our children to be literate so they can learn to read God's Word for themselves, and so that they can help others know it. Until we've mastered reading, nothing else matters. That means social studies, science, extras, all of those things need to take a back seat. And to be honest, that even includes things like grammar and writing. Now, don't get mad at me, but I'm not going to give you age levels in this video. We're going to start with early learning. These are the kids who haven't learned how to read yet, or pre-readers. These kids are probably preschoolers. They might be kindergartners. It's really up to your child. I strongly encourage you to wait until your child is ready to begin teaching them to read. However, that doesn't mean that you're not going to be laying the foundation. In this pre-reading stage, you're going to do so many cool things. You want to engage these little people with literacy activities that blow their mind, like rhyming and letter recognition and picture reading that they don't even know they're doing. Of course, you don't need a curriculum to do this. I highly suggest you have a daily book box, just a box of books that they can read and enjoy. Remember, they're just picture reading, and they might be mimicking some things that they learned from you. We're not expecting them to read all the words in this book. You want to schedule in for them a daily center time or box time, a busy box, a busy bag, however you want to word it. But this would be learning activities that they don't know are learning. Things that are actually really fun and interesting to do, like an alphabet puzzle or a rhyming game, things like that. You want to make sure you're reading to them every single day. First of all, this is awesome family bonding time. I would never want to give it up. But it's also really good for them. As you're reading, point things out in the book. Show them the words that you're reading and have them finish a sentence or make guesses about what's going to happen. All of that is fun and natural learning. And of course, have lots and lots of good conversations and experiences. If your child is dying for a curriculum, and I know that happens sometimes, especially if your child is a younger child in the family and you have lots of older siblings, they're going to ask for curriculum. They're going to want to do school with everyone else, which really means they want something to write in. No problem. I get them Rod and Staff's ABC series. It's fantastic. They can do a little school when they feel like it. If one day they don't feel like it, don't press it. It's totally fine. The next group of kids are those that are learning to read. Now, again, I really strongly encourage you to wait until your child shows signs that they're ready to read. When I start teaching reading, I always teach with all about spelling. I taught first grade in the public school system for 10 years. And one of the things that impresses me about this curriculum is the systematic way that it teaches kids to learn to read. Now, I know it says spelling, and I know that this company has a reading curriculum. I think you can skip that. This system is 15 minutes a day. It's easy, it's simple, and it's really all you need, especially if you have a rambunctious boy or even girl who's really not super interested in sitting with you anyway. Okay, so typically my kids go through all about spelling levels 1, 2, and 3. And once they're done with that, they move to the next level, which we'll talk about in a second. During that stage, all I do is all about spelling for 10 or 15 minutes a day, and then I have them read as many awesome books as they can. I would recommend you have a wide variety of beginning readers. I'll link to a post with all kinds of ideas to share with you. Just like with your early learners, when your child is learning to read, you want to keep a giant box of books right there ready for them. You want to actually assign them time to read out of that book box every day so that they get lots and lots of practice. All right, now I mentioned that once we do all about spelling, level 1, 2, and 3, and we've mastered those 3 levels, my kids move out of that and into what I call the readers stage. Reader stage happens usually somewhere between maybe second grade, third grade, and up, and it goes all the way through eighth grade. Now, I did finally give you some grades, and I know you're happy about that, but I didn't before because you shouldn't box your kids in. If your child does not become a strong reader until fourth grade, no problem. It's really okay. So be sure you don't get discouraged and you don't discourage your child. God created us all differently, and we're going to learn differently and at different paces. So that is totally fine. Okay, so between third and eighth grade, you're going to start getting a lot of reading from other subjects like history and science. And so you don't actually need a reading curriculum per se. Instead, I have my kids keep a journal. This is our reading journal. I actually created it for my daughter who struggled to learn how to read and was frustrated that all of the reading curriculum insisted that she read particular things. She wanted to choose, and I thought, I think that's fair. Why not? So I wrote this little curriculum for her, giving her the ability to choose whatever she reads. Ever since I've written it, all of my children from 3rd through 8th grade have used this as their sole reading curriculum. They pick the books they want to read, and then they do half of the page as a lesson each day. There are 30 different types of lessons in here, and they repeat 6 times throughout the year. The goal is to give kids a little bit more to think about as they read, because remember, often kids think that the purpose of reading is to get all the words right, but the purpose of reading is to be able to understand and to glean something out of what we're reading. When your child gets in 4th or 5th grade, maybe 6th grade, somewhere in there, is a good time to start thinking about maybe adding in a little bit of grammar and a little bit of writing. And I really do mean a little bit. It doesn't have to be something super, super hard and in-depth. All 3 of my older kids started IEW with a co-op at this time. I gotta tell you, I had my hesitancy about the way IEW teaches kids to write, but it has proven to be fantastic, and I've really loved the results that have come out of the program. Okay, Nathan is actually going to do IEW 2 this year, and he's going to be using a new curriculum from IEW called Following Narnia, and he'll read all of the Narnia series and go through this as a part of what he's doing for writing. The grammar that we use is from IEW. It's called Fix It. This is 1 whole week's assignments. That's what I love about it. Let's keep it simple. It doesn't have to be a lot. It's just a little warm up each day to help them remember the concepts they've learned or learn new ones. Okay, let's get into high school. Now, as always, check your state requirements. You need to know if there are any specifics. Most states require at least 4 English credits, so your high schooler will need to have that. It should include literature and composition as well as grammar. If you're looking for something that's all-inclusive, I've already mentioned Knotgrass. It includes your history and also gives you that English credit. You would just need to add some grammar to it. If you're looking for something highly competitive, I would recommend Master Books. They have a line of American and British Lit that is fantastic, very high level. If you're looking for something in between, consider IEW. My oldest is actually going to use the British Literature Guide by IEW. For us, this is consistent with the way she's learned all along. She loves IEW, and so it was a good fit. If you're looking for flexibility, make it up yourself. Yeah, you can do that. Rachel is actually going to do General Lit this year as English 1 as a 9th grader, and we are totally making it up ourselves. I'm going to allow her to choose whatever book she wants. I'll give you my secret formula for making this work. I go on to Teachers Pay Teachers, and I search the name of the book that she's going to read, and I look for tests or activities that go along with it. I will give tests for some of the novels, and I will give activities or papers for others of the novels and kind of mix it up so she doesn't have to do all the same things. It's totally easy. If you have a reluctant reader, a reluctant English student, that's a great way to fit it in. Okay, that's all for language arts. I have all the things that I shared for you in a list in the post for Curriculum Week. I'll leave you with this last thought. Remember that the whole purpose of language arts is to teach our kids to read and love and appreciate the Bible so that they can know God better. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.